Hi everybody, Lord Mayhem here with another Insanity walkthrough for Mass Effect 2. This is No One Left Behind Part 2, the second stage of the final mission through the Omega 4 relay. This cinematic will occur immediately after the first section of the mission. Depending on the number of missions you've completed between the crew being kidnapped and going through the Omega 4 relay, will affect the number of crew that actually get killed as a result. If you go immediately through the Omega 4 relay after the crew being kidnapped, you'll be able to save not only Dr. Chakwas, but also Kelly, the fish-feeding yeoman. And of course, for some of you who haven't actually pursued a romance with any other character, also your concubine, lap dancer, and wall gyrator. So this is Stage 2, the Long Walk, where you will have to identify 3 separate crew members to perform different tasks. The first of which being a biotic to maintain a field that'll keep out the seeker swarms. The second, a fire team leader for the distraction team. And in third, an escort to send back with the crew that you've rescued. For the biotic, you'll want to select either Samara or Jack. The fire team leader again, Garrus, Miranda, or Jacob. And for the survivor escort, choose Tali, Mordin, Jack, or Kasumi, because they're the least effective in Stage 3 of the mission on the defensive line. The biotic specialist, fire team leader, and survivor escort must all be loyal. Choosing an incorrect or disloyal biotic specialist will result in the death of one of your squad members. Choosing an incorrect or disloyal fire team leader will result in their death. Choosing a disloyal survivor escort will result in the death of the escort. Sending no escort will result in the death of the entire crew that you've rescued. The level itself where the biotic maintains the field is linear and will lead directly from one encounter to the next. The biotic will stop, allowing you to take care of the wave of enemies. Then once complete, you walk up to the biotic and trigger them to advance to the next area. In this first encounter, you'll have one Harbinger that spawns immediately, and a number of drones. You'll have to keep an eye on where the Harbinger is, as it will advance on your position quite quickly. Take out as many drones as possible, then turn to deal with the Harbinger if it gets too close to you. Obviously, you want to limit the possibility that the Harbinger will spawn again by one of the other drones. But you aren't really given much of a choice, considering how close the Harbinger actually spawns to you, and the fact that it can walk directly up the ramp in a straight line to your position. So if you do happen to have to take out the Harbinger, eliminate the drones that are on the ground as quickly as possible to prevent a second one from spawning in. But as you can see in the last mission, it is literally a matter of seconds between Harbingers. So you often have to deal with at least 2 in every wave. Same as before, when the Harbinger throws the fireball with the black flames around it, you can slide side to side in cover to cause the fireball to corkscrew around you. So what happens when the wave is done, you'll advance further until you see a platform coming down, which will trigger the next encounter. There'll be a number of husks that'll climb over the edge of this area. If you have throw or one of the other biotic abilities that you can actually project them, you may be able to knock them back off the edge of the cliff and not have to deal with them. But either way, the wave is relatively small. Once these 4 are dealt with, the next wave will spawn immediately, and if you have Adrenaline Rush, if you're a soldier, you'll at least be able to wear them down a little bit before they get into cover and start the attack. Once your biotic stops moving, you'll notice the edge of this bubble ends at this tall piece of cover just at the edge of this pit. You can stay here, cheat the corner, and kill as many of the drones as possible. Just be sure to keep an eye on where the Harbinger is, as they will charge your position. You can see here that I have just a very narrow angle on him without exposing myself to fire from the other drones, but I'm still able to wear him down fairly quickly. So again, turn your fire back to the drones. The Harbinger will spawn again almost immediately. Grunt here is in my way, there's not much I can do about that, but worst case scenario, he's actually not bad cover. So again there, the Harbinger spawns in like within seconds of the first one dying. So in reality, the only difference between this and the previous stages when dealing with the Harbinger, you'll have to deal with them more frequently and usually before you can completely wipe out all the drones because of how quickly they charge your position. This was kind of a dangerous situation. Luckily the Harbinger had already been worn down. He didn't actually have a great deal of life left by the time he leapt over the cover, but you're going to have to deal with that fairly frequently. This is now the third Harbinger that has spawned in this one round alone. I believe the total elapsed time between each Harbinger is 1 to 2 seconds. It's really ridiculous at this point. So do your best to eliminate the drones and guardians before the Harbinger charges you, but it's almost a certainty you're going to have to deal with more than 1 or 2. Also, they do seem to be taking quite a bit more of a pounding on this stage than they had in any other stage, so when this one charged me, I figured I'd give them the good old room sweeper to the face. Okay, once again, after this encounter, hit your biotic, and you'll come to quite possibly the hardest fight in the game. You have very limited room, you can't back up, there are scores of husks and abominations and one scion in an incredibly limited amount of space. In reality, the only way to do this with any degree of regularity is to have your squad move up and really act as a diversion. The husks will mill around your squad instead of behind you, and you can shoot at them, the husks, not your squad, and thin them out while your squad takes the damage. Also, if you can have the Scion attack your squad instead of you a couple of times, that'll at least take some of the difficulty off of you. The more you stay behind this tall cover here, the less likely the Scion will be able to shoot at you directly. All you can really do is try to deal with the situation as it comes, because it's never going to be the same each time. I find hiding behind this tall piece of cover is the only real strategy that works for me regularly. All you can really do is keep your squad revived as much as possible so that they can continue to draw fire and do as much damage to the Scion as quickly as possible. You're just going to have to resign yourself right now to having to reload this section and replay it numerous times. But once you've completed that wave, really the rest of this mission is all downhill, sadly including even the last boss. So, shortly after the last encounter, when you have your biotic move again, there'll be a couple more husks that climb out of the side, and another few here. You'll see actually there I was able to force it back over the edge. But that'll be it for enemies for this level. Once your biotic reaches the edge of this ramp, you'll get a cinematic, and that will be the end of the mission. Or at least this section of the mission. Well, that was part 2 of No One Left Behind, the Insanity walkthrough for Mass Effect 2. Tune in next time for part 3, where we'll cover the last section and the final boss. I'm Lord Bame. Thanks for watching.